Happy Arvo. Hello. I totally did that on purpose. How you guys doing? So the other day, I learned that, to my surprise, I guess the dingo is the apex predator in Australia. You know, which is pretty impressive for a dog, considering the amount of deadly animals and things in Australia. The dingo. So, I wanted to learn more about the dingo, and where better to learn about the dingo than the Dingo channel? Go check out the Dingo channel, link down below. Not a dog. I guess the dingo's not a dog. Not a domestic dog, obviously. Although this one looks pretty domestic. Anyway, I just want to learn more about the dingo. Let's see what we got.
Hi guys, what's up? Welcome back to the Dingo channel. My name is Ali and this is Pumbaa. Today Pumbaa is going to help me demonstrate how he, as a pure alpine dingo, is incredibly different to a domestic dog.
Could have fooled me right there. I mean, they're the apex predator, but it's not like they're actually dangerous to humans, right? Or they don't attack humans very much.
Dingoes are not dogs. There are many misconceptions surrounding dingoes, and a lot of these misconceptions are fueled.
I will say the tail is the only thing about this animal that doesn't look like a domesticated dog. And it still could be.
By the theory that dingoes are just dogs that have gone wild. This is absolutely not the case. Dingoes have been isolated in Australia for thousands upon thousands of years, where they have evolved to suit Australia's harsh conditions.
That's crazy.
They have also never been through the domestication process. Every single domestic dog,
I'm surprised they haven't been domesticated.
no matter what breed, has a really broad chest and a narrower head. In comparison, every single dingo has a really narrow chest.
I was going to say, I don't even know, honestly, which one's the dingo here. But okay, the domesticated one has broad shoulders. Okay.
A broader head. This is really, really important for survival for our dingoes because they know that where their head fits, the rest of their body can follow.
Oh, like a cat.
The reason that this is important is because if you're a dingo in the desert and you need to find water that's no longer on the surface, it's usually underground. So they need to be able to squeeze into tight spaces and get underground to find that water. If you're in a forested environment as a dingo and there's a bushfire that goes through, you can actually escape the bushfire by going underground as well, which is really cool. Dingoes are also den animals.
Den animals.
So you're probably thinking, sure.
So they live with like a pack? Is that what that means?
Pumbaa's head is bigger than his chest, and therefore his chest can fit through tight spaces. But what is he doing with these long legs? Well, dingoes are actually incredibly flexible. They can actually subluxate their joints. This means that dingoes like Pumbaa can actually bring their legs all the way up in line with their ribcage. Dingoes like Pumbaa also have a very wide range of movement
Pumbaa's
in their
a good
shoulders
sport.
and in their back legs as well. Dingoes, also being the largest land predator in Australia, have to be very good.
They're the largest land predator. I mean, I'm trying to think. I guess that checks out, huh? Is a kangaroo not a predator? Okay, here's a dumb question. What do kangaroos eat?
Good at hunting.
I never thought about that.
They have adapted to have some really cool sensory equipment, even more advanced than our domestic dogs. Dingoes have a sense of smell that is just as good as a beagle at the airport, but there's a lot of reasons that dingoes like Pumbaa wouldn't be very good at that role. One of them being that dingoes are actually quite difficult to train. It's more like trying to train a cat. The second reason is that Pumbaa has so much sensory equipment that it would be sensory overload.
So they're difficult to train. I don't think that necessarily means they're dumb, right? Like cats aren't dumb. But typically when you think of a domestic dog and you think of, oh, you know, this breed is so smart, it's partly because they can be trained to do so many different things.
For him, Pumbaa retains the use of his whiskers for hunting. He can actually use his whiskers to sense vibrations of insects in the ground and behind tree bark. And as a cub, Pumbaa's first meals actually would have been of insects.
Can he sense that stupid fly flying around his face.
And as a cub, Pumbaa's first meals actually would have been of insects. So if you can already imagine back to the airport scenario, if Pumbaa here was going along and sniffing luggage, he would also have his whiskers detecting the vibrations of other things going on in the airport. On top of this, Pumbaa's eyes are also in a different position to a domestic dog's. Domestic dogs have been bred with their eyes facing forward so that they can communicate with us. Of course, our domestic dogs have turned this back around on us, and now they always ask us to go for a walk and for whatever's on our dinner plates. Whereas our dingoes, having never been to that domestication...
Hey, so that sounds kind of nice to me. So the dingoes don't beg for anything. Sounds like they'd be a great dog.
...process, have their eyes slightly slanted and almond-shaped, which gives them wider peripheral vision. As well as this, Pumbaa's opera house-shaped ears are fully furred on the inside and can actually hear a human heartbeat up to 25 meters away.
Meters. 25 meters. They can hear my heartbeat from 25 meters away. Oh my God, that's actually insane.
Which is just incredible. So if we go back to the airport scenario, usually the dogs sniffing your luggage are...
That just makes me wonder how, if you make a loud noise, how it doesn't like blow their eardrums out. If they can hear things that sensitive.
Something like a beagle. We've bred beagles with their ears like this, which means they can actually block out some sound, block out some of their vision, and they've got their eyes facing forward. They're not using their whiskers for anything, and they can just focus on their nose and what their nose is picking up. Pumbaa, on the other hand, would have sensory overload, as I said, and he'd just be picking up way too much that's going on.
You know, it's kind of funny. I'm just thinking about how much the dingo, it's almost just as much like a cat, like a domestic cat, as it is like a domestic dog. Their heads, you know, anything they can get their head through, they can fit through. They can't be trained like similar to a cat. They have whiskers that are sensitive and can sense things like a cat.
So I'm sure just from these facts alone, you can already see how different a dingo is to a domestic dog. Another amazing feature that differentiates dingoes from dogs is actually to do with brain chemistry. When domestic dogs lose their footing, the immediate reaction is to release adrenaline. This makes dogs quite rigid and stiff when they lose their footing. In contrast to this, dingoes actually release dopamine when they lose their footing. This means that they kind of go all floppy. The reason that this is a survival thing for dingoes is that if they're walking along a tree branch and it snaps, or they happen to fall off something, they're less likely to actually break any bones.
Oh, wow.
Because they're not going all rigid and they're just going floppy. So I'm hoping that you can already start to see how incredibly different dingoes are to our domesticated dogs. There are actually many more differences between dingoes and dogs that we don't have time.
So they fall off something, they fall off like a sack of potatoes and absorb the impact.
To cover today, such as dingoes having an elongated rib cage, which is actually extra protection from kangaroos. I hope we'll be able to cover these in a future video. Pumbaa and I would like to say...
So the kangaroos do attack them. So wouldn't that make the kangaroo the biggest land predator? I'm guessing the kangaroos don't eat them, though. That would be sure a disturbing video.
Hey, thank you so much for watching. We hope that you've learned something new. If you haven't already checked out our video about dingo history and our other video about dingo ecotypes, be sure to go over and check them out. Take care, everyone.
Well, that was a very fun little video. Go check out the Dingo channel. I feel like I learned a lot. A dingo is more like a cat than a dog. All right. The more you know. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys are doing good. Hey. Today is actually gravy day for me. You know, I had to, because the time difference and stuff and when I actually published the video. But when I'm recording this, it's actually gravy day, so I have to go listen to that song. How to make some gravy, you know. I'll see you guys tomorrow.